So usually we have a musical intro. We hit you guys. You're gonna groan right away. Just give it a second. You think you've heard it before.
You really had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is everyone else hearing this?
It's just like this.
How did it get better?
It's this great Rick Astley song.
Whose remix is this, Niko?
So this.
Knowing you, some AI bullshit going on there.
Yeah, that's a song where they took 12 seconds from Rick Astley and then had an AI just take it over at 12 seconds and continue from there. So yeah.
So technically, you didn't just rickroll our entire audience.
Technically, none of that is copyrightable. YouTube.
We'll cut out the first 12 seconds, actually, but
Yeah, you have to cut out the first 12 seconds. Yeah, so like the past week while we were busy getting our minds blown by Stable Diffusion, OpenAI dropped Jukebox, which is basically the same thing for music. So yeah.
The machine overlords are coming for the artist jobs and the musicians jobs.
Oh yeah.
no one's safe.
No one's
Everyone.
safe.
We're talking about the speed of change, and it's like, oh, it is going really fast. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's an uh-oh, actually. It's just really crazy. Yeah. So Mark.
Hi.
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 Oh,
You're
hi,
back.
Mark.
You know, the
Where'd
summer,
you go?
we had a wonderful summer, but the leaves are changing colors and the seasons are changing, and sounds like it might be time for you to graduate.
I'm fucking out of here. I'm gone. Freedom.
Got your credits and you're hitting the road.
Get your credits.
Yeah, exactly. D stands for diploma. I didn't learn Unreal, but I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, wait. You're leaving and you don't know Unreal?
I know a little bit. You know?
I saw Irish Temple run. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It was nice because that was a proof of concept of like all the tutorials that I watched kind of like solidified in that moment. It wasn't that I walked in, like I saw comments that was like, wow, he seems pretty smart. He knows what he's doing. He's like, no, I fumbled through all those systems prior. And so I kind of had some dull recollection in my brain to go, I know that system. Oh, I can do something like that. But yeah, I'm ending my internship here for good. Officially, you know.
Officially.
Forever.
So like coming in, what was your goal with this internship? Because I mean, from the outside observer, it'd be weird. It might be kind of weird to be like, oh, you have your own thing going on and it's going great. Why would you just be an intern somewhere else?
Because it's funny. You know, really. Well, more just because like I had this idea a while ago, and we talked about this on the last podcast that I was on. But just like it's just an opportunity to hang out with my fellow peers on YouTube, people that are creative and getting into that same circle. It's so hard to get that, even if you're not doing YouTube or something like that. It's so hard to find like-minded people. So it was a welcome change of pace to be in an environment where there are other people that are creatively minded in different ways. I would not be as obsessed with AI if it wasn't for mostly you, actually. You and your perverse distortions of reality and machines taking over everyone's job, and your Greg Rakowski, you know, he's pissed at you, right? You know, he's pissed at you specifically.
Specifically, yeah.
Wait, really?
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Creator clash.
Chances
Oh
are
man,
he's
I was
actually
wondering
seen
if
the
he
video.
posted something.
He said he made a statement. It wasn't directly at you, but
It was Niko. You can suck. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But he just said like, man, they should prevent living artists from being put into these AI programs, and I'm pretty sure it's because I don't know who you saw type in Greg Rakowski and it'll make good stuff, but you made a very popular video that said type in Greg Rakowski and it'll make cool stuff.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you didn't want everybody to use his name, maybe he should have made his stuff so cool.
Yeah, stop being so talented, Greg.
Yeah, it's his art. It was asking for it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, look, we're
It
going
just
real
looks
deep
so
on the
Sorry, Greg
here.
Rakowski, that you're defining the visual sensibility of the new modern age art renaissance. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It's good art. It's well done, but it is an interesting can of worms. But I'm slowly diving deep into it myself.
It's super. And like, so, you know, obviously somebody can watch something and get inspired by it. and replicate it kind of through their own filter. In your mind, Mark, where's the divide between watching something, getting inspired by it, versus like typing Greg Rakowski and just taking the result and calling it a day?
I mean, as a Let's Player, I just Google whatever everyone else is playing in terms of games, and I play that game. Nah, not always, but sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I do. It's tough. I'm not an artist. I'm not talented in that way.
Oh, come on. You're definitely an artist. You make so many thumbnails.
I'm not
You're like the people of thumbnails.
I'm not this artist. I don't do this
Oh, right,
nonsense
right.
with all these and on a tablet. I don't do none of that. Everything I do is just like mouse based and like auto selection based. But when it comes down to like stealing art or whether it's interpretation, is it good? Is it bad? I can't make that distinction because honestly, there's so many people that just do what I do on YouTube and I have no problem with it. It's kind of like
Mhm.
cool. I started some kind of a trend, or some people were inspired to play this game, or this game got more attention. At the end of the day, a lot more people know the name Greg Rakowski because of all the people typing it in, and all people do know his work. So
Yeah.
on an individual level, he's not suffering at all from it. He is
Mhm.
actually benefiting from it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You'd hope he'd get more attention.
He
I
is.
didn't know
By
who he
default
was.
he is,
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
I
Neither
looked
did
up his
I,
art.
honestly.
Yeah.
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 It was something like art is you can make the huge argument of like as soon as an artist makes a piece of art, are they separate from their art? Is it released into the world and then it just goes forever? Like what do you do with it if someone decides to change it or alter it in any way? I think like I'm of the mind like once something's out there, it's there forever, and you can only try to make as much intention as possible. Like with Unis Honest, we had every intention of being like it's done and it's dead, and there's still people that rewatch videos, and it doesn't have the same meaning, of course, but I can't stop them. Well, I mean, I can copyright claim all of the videos on YouTube, which we do, but I can't really stop
Do
them.
they pop up pretty consistently, or
Yeah,
like
occasionally.
posted on file sharing websites?
All over.
or-
You'll find them. If you look, you can find them pretty easily. It doesn't
Yeah.
take too long. Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's like, what can you do? It is the world, and the internet is a big place of remixing things. So it's like trying to fight against that is a battle of futility. You will be Sisyphus pushing the rock up the mountain if you do that.
I read a great quote, I think this morning, that was the internet is written in ink. Like, and I was like, ooh, that's
yeah.
like once it's out there, it's out there. Like no matter what, someone saw it and they're like, oh, I'm downloading that. I'm screenshotting that. I'm screen grabbing it. Like,
And there's like 50 layers of that transfer paper too, and then they
Yeah.
all get sent out to opposite corners of the world
Yeah.
and downloaded to people's hard
it's
drives
crazy,
and
man.
Yeah.
saved forever. Yeah, I was talking to Griffin about it. It was like, what should artists do? Like,
Yeah. Griffin's
should-
our in-house artist, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Extremely talented.
he has a lot of like opinions on this, obviously,
Mhm.
because he's the one who's like, it's like he's seeing all of his coworkers like going, I can make awesome art, and he's sitting there like making awesome art, and he's like, shit. But like, it makes you think like, if I were an artist who's just getting started, I would be looking, how do I define my personal style
Yeah.
into something completely different? It is not a good time to be a CG painterly concept artist right
Yeah.
now.
Like you hear these
Because-
same styles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta like innovate now, and this is gonna push people, I think, to really innovate styles and like make their own. Like it's like on a dollar bill. Like how do you make a forge proof like thing in your art that no AI can replicate? Like what is your hand, right?
I don't know
That,
if that's
like-
possible, other than maybe literal hands. Because
Yeah. We'll give it a couple of years, and
You
there'll
just
be
draw
nothing.
really detailed hands.
Yeah.
AI can't replicate
It's
that.
just honestly, yeah, it's all hand art. It's just goes back to like the
It's
second
finger
grade,
painting, dude.
Dude, draw me a turkey hand or whatever.
I can't help but think of that video that we did where you came up with your stop it. And I'm just like, I'm gonna steal your idea.
Honestly.
It's literally.
But it was an AI idea
I
too.
know. It's
Yeah.
so meta. So many levels.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
there
you
you go.
guys been finding with the stable diffusion in particular that it really gets that like gambling bit in your brain where it's like, ooh, if I just generate once more, I'm gonna get that perfect result. And it shows that like we've kind of been talking about that of like it's addicting. Like
Yeah.
I'm definitely like, oh, I could just tweak this one little parameter and then it'll be perfect. And it's not perfect. So you hit generate again.
Yeah.
It's still not perfect. And you just like you can
Because then
spend
every once in a while it pops like, oh, that's nice.
you
Oh,
get
yeah.
that little hit and then
Yeah.
you're like, yes.
I've
Dude,
been-
it's that little hit of like when you get a haircut and you like glance at yourself in the mirror, like, ooh. You know, but you're like, ooh, I'm a knight. Ooh, someone painted me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, let's see what it can do next.
I've been having a lot more fun with novel AI. And I was
Okay.
talking to you about this. Have any of you tried novel AI?
No.
What is it?
It's a story AI or AI. I always try to do AI. It's a story model. Basically, it's an advanced linguistic model that is able to take prompts in and generate story after that. Their most recent version, and I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I have felt that thing of like just wanting to keep going with this because the newest model is so weirdly good. Like if I write in short, stupid sentences like "he woke up, hit what dark, he did," and I pick a certain preset, it'll write just like that. Like, and then he got up and he stubbed his toe and it hurt real bad. He go, ow, and it'll write like that. Or if I write in a less stupid way, it'll match my voice. And so it's the first time where I felt like
Wow.
I'm writing with an extension of myself. Like I was saying, like you were saying, a suit of armor is on you. It's not like something's writing for me, but I feel like I can guide it. And I think that's where AI, in terms of how artists are going to deal with it in the future, have to approach it, is like it is a tool, an extension of yourself. Until AI becomes real AI and it can think for itself, it's always going to have to be guided and used in the hand of a person. And it's how they brush with that paintbrush that really makes it matter.
Yeah. It's definitely like a time to look at history a little bit and see like what has happened when other machines have come out that accelerate human workflows to the point where you think it would eliminate humans from the picture. And obviously, obviously there's less coal miners now than there were
Yeah.
before, but when you look at like the progress of certain things, generally speaking, when something gets easier to make, people want more of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, when we could start making air conditioners easier, everybody wanted air conditioning, and now there's air conditioners everywhere. It wasn't like, well, I guess the HVAC industry dried up when air conditioners got cheap. It's like, no, it increased demand, increased like, longing for it. But it also kind of brings up this like this era that we kind of move into where like the internet is effectively like a second, pseudo reality that you project yourself into. And now when you have AI that you can filter yourself through, your voice can be different, your image can be different. You can truly be somebody else entirely on the internet versus what you are in real life.
Yeah. I think we brought it up last podcast. This comparison of like all these AI image generation tools are kind of like, okay, when Pro Tools or like other DAWs were invented for music. But then just thinking about that now, I think we kind of go in that argument of like, it's so much more approachable for someone in their laptop to make music. Like that's a big thing. But also maybe that music isn't as good. Like there's more opportunity and it allows people like myself, like I'm not a talented painter, I'm not whatever, but I can now use Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, whatever to create these cool concept pieces. But does that just like dilute art? Like it's like when music becomes easier to create, there's more bad or mediocre music. Does this just mean there's going to be more bad, mediocre art or like derivative? Because it's just, I don't know. It's such a weird thing, right? Like it's like how, yeah.
You can mark the advancement of civilization in the dilution of specialization, right?
Yeah.
So way back when people were extremely specialized, well, actually, no, actually way back when people were generalized, and then they specialized as civilization came up, and then there comes this weird time when there's this de-specialization, and it kind of pushes people into even tighter specializations, but generally everyone can do more and more things. And so the end result is that everyone is able to make anything they want that appears in their head at any moment. And the defining thing is, how good is that thing in your head? How good are you at translating this image in your head into reality? And I think like it's not going to there's going to be definitely a wash of art. But in the same way that when painters went from physical paint to digital paint, there was surely quantity-wise way more. But because people were able to practice their craft a lot more with better tools, and they don't have to buy paint, they don't have to work with the weirdness of physical mediums, they're able to express their imagination. There are some digital works of art that if you showed like a Renaissance painter, they'd go, they'd just be like so freaked out at the possibility that could even happen. It'd be amazing.
I guess it's not a bad thing ultimately because it lowers the barrier to entry for people to do that. But I guess it's like this argument of like lowering the barrier to entry at the same time diluting the art, if you would like.
Well,
but
yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's I think dilution's only possible if you have to look at everything all at once.
Yeah.
It's like, think of YouTube. Did YouTube dilute like videos? Like, no. There's like far better videos on the internet now than there were before YouTube.
Yeah.
But they have systems in place to help you organize it. It's very crazy. It's very wacky.
Yeah, I guess it's just because there is more and there's more noise and there's more like derivative and maybe not as high quality stuff doesn't mean you're going to see all of it. Like I'm sure we're probably going to have, I mean, I'm already kind of seeing it on social media. You see this wave of like, look at this AI thing I generated. It's like cool, but it's not amazing. And I think we'll just like, that'll come down and then we'll start to see like artists like Griffin, even he's already starting to, learn the tools, being able to use that and apply it to their craft and really be like, oh wow, these already talented artists now have this like incredible tool in their toolbox that can just help them become a better, and especially not just better but more efficient artist. Like that's the biggest thing to me, is like just the efficiency in terms of concepting and just like asset creation even.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
If you could just type out what your 3D model was that you wanted in Blender versus having to sit there and model it, like, what would you pick? It's like, I'd pick the fastest, easiest way to just,
I suck at modeling.
yeah.
I think we're also wired to be like, well, I grew up with hardships and barriers, so everyone else needs to have them. But like, really, it's like all we've ever been working towards is, despecialization. It's like, I want to be able to do everything all the time and not go pay this guy to do it for me,
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the natural. This is the natural, like it's tech, computation and tech and arts. They're both now meeting. So it's the natural progression of things. Is it good? I don't know, but it's how it was always going to happen.
Have you been writing a book with Novel AI? Have you actually like been getting a product out?
I've been writing so much stuff. I've been having help writing scripts. I've been writing not necessarily books, but just like getting stories out of my head. I guess it is a book until you make it something else. But I found like, and the strange crux that I see people going towards is like, just because everyone can be an artist doesn't mean everyone will be an artist. And again, I was telling you this about what I discovered when I was going to look up more help about Novel AI. I went onto the Discord and I found that the vast majority of the people that are using said software, and probably Stable Diffusion now, are just making porn. They just like a lot of the writers are just writing smut, and it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, I guess that is where people would gravitate towards, I suppose. So really, like when you get the whole masses being able to make things, it's kind of like, man, maybe not the best idea. But it does leave the rest of it to like the artists that are really going to push the art as an art form. Not that porn isn't an art form, I guess.
I'm curious to see what kind of offended comments end up on this. Yeah.
There's that robot that's like, what is my purpose? You write smut.
Well, I mean, I feel like they're the only ones who have like an actual market though for this stuff.
Yeah, it's like they're the ones who can make a product.
Yeah, seriously, like, so good for them.
Like, I gotta ship 10 chapters of this Harry Potter. Sorry,
wasn't it the same way with like, wasn't like deepfake tech like advanced by that industry too? Like
probably
just a ton.
Yeah,
that is kind of like
ones really that was kind of the first thing. It was porn. Yeah, that's right.
They're like, okay, let's turn this into a product. So,
but to its credit, it's like deepfakes really took a hard turn out of that realm into like actually using it for like really cool ideas and visual effects. And all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like whether it's bringing a deceased actor back to life or, like, I don't know. ILM was just like, yeah, we'll do it.
That was after the porn industry smoothed out the kinks.
Exactly. Did they smooth out the kinks?
Oh, I don't know.
They did something with the kinks. Yeah, I don't know how smoothing them, but
they deepfaked them.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, I'm just like, since coming to Corridor, getting to like kind of dive more into deepfake stuff with you, that was so cool to me. And so it's so eye-opening how simple it is to kind of learn the process. I mean, that's the thing with Stable Diffusion. It's like, you did this awesome masterclass the other day and it was like, oh yeah, sweet, we can just all do this now.
My class achieved the rank of master.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like, it was really, it's all so approachable now too. Like, it's crazy. And it's just a matter of like spending the time to Google how to do it, learning a little bit of Python, like all that sort of stuff. But it is approachable, and I think ultimately that's a good thing. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, all the cinematographers were freaking out when DSLRs came out, and we're like,
Yeah, right.
these freaking amateurs, they think they can, just make a film with depth of field now.
Yeah.
I
It's
only
like,
know how
turns
to
out we
put on a
can't.
50. Only I know about 80 millimeter lenses. Hey, like, I'm sure they were pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that span
It's
of a couple of
diluting
years.
it,
There's that span of a
like-
couple of years where it's like if you were shooting digital and you had, the Canon 5D Mark II or whatever, it's like, oh, you could get something special out of it just because you had the camera. And after a while, it's like
Totally.
everybody has the camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird
Yeah.
to think, like, we were really just shooting on, like, these crappy wide-angle lenses. That was, like,
Yeah.
all of home videos for, like, 10, 15 years was just
Yeah.
the same lenses. And then it was, like, DSLRs popped, and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, bokeh?
We didn't even get 24 frames per
Sweet.
second until like I was graduating college.
Yeah, what the heck?
Damn, man.
Yeah. Mark, so you were in a couple different videos over the past couple months that you've been with
A
us.
couple.
A couple.
People
Just
don't
a
know about
couple.
more than half of them because they're on CorridorDigital.com.
Crew
Available-
Cuts, season
Crew
2.
Cuts.
There are
Yeah.
amazing Crew Cuts episodes. But I wanted to
There
ask
really
you,
are.
like, okay, you can't say the Crew Cuts. We can talk about the Crew Cut season finale, but you can't say the Crew Cut season finale as the answer to this question. But
Mhm.
what video did you enjoy making the most?
I don't know, man. It's hard to pick. I wouldn't say it was like any of the crew cut stuff, even though that was very fun. The Unreal one, because I actually learned Unreal in it, was a nice treat,
Mhm.
after so long getting through there. It really was like kind of a fun journey. I almost don't remember them as single videos because many of them were filmed over such a weird period of time, which is so different from how I do things. If I'm doing a video, it's like I'm sitting down until the video's done recorded and then I'm done. I'm not used to the picking up a shot here over 3 days, maybe a week. And so I can't really boil it down to a video just because it was such a pleasant experience throughout the days.
Oh, that's really nice.
That's awesome.
Well,
Mhm.
let me ask you another question. That actually, anytime I have a friend visiting from like another country, I always ask, and it's like they come for the first time. I ask them like, what was the thing that you expected that totally was your expectation,
Mhm.
and what's the thing that you expected that was not at all, did not at all turn out to be your expectation?
I thought that working in a pit of people basically would be hell, and it was, but not for the reason that I thought. It was hell not because of the people. I thought it would be hard to get anything done, and in actuality, like I got more done just because like there's people around you. There's like I can't again pull up my AI smut machine and just like go to town on it. But there's also just like having this fun environment where everyone's joking and it's not too much pressure unless there's like a lot of videos going on. Then again, I wasn't editing like punch for punch season 4 like the last episode or Son of a Dungeon.
Shut up.
Yeah, there was more than one time where Daniel needed a shot for crew cuts. I know he was asking that. I was like, oh no, oh god, but all for the betterment. But it was hell because I just so happened to do this internship at the hottest point in summer, in one of the hottest summers in LA, in a room full of like, there's 20 computers all
Room full of the
maximum.
hottest dudes. I mean,
the sweatiest dudes. That's for sure.
sweatiest. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like the sheer heat.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it. It makes your head hurt after a while. I had to run out. I was drinking water. I never drank more water than I was at this office because it was just like that much I had to keep cool.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, completely. It was still the worst part of it, but not for the reasons I thought.
Okay. And then what was the most defiant of your expectations?
Defiant of my expectations.
Something where you're like, I think it'll be like this when I get there. I think this is the thing I'll be doing, or
Oh
and it
yeah,
just like takes a hard U-turn. It's like it's not
right.
that at all.
I thought I'd learn VFX. That I got,
Got 'em.
honestly, I thought I would.
That's the secret. None of us know VFX.
Right, of course.
It's all the AI.
Yeah. We all pretend we know VFX.
I thought I'd pick up something, but it's like I get it because when I'm in videos, my best strong suit is like in front of the camera. Like that's where my skill set has been developed over 10 years of doing YouTube. And I'm good at editing, but there was no occurrence with which I needed to edit. There's plenty of very talented editors here. And then with VFX is like I learned as much as I gave myself time to learn I was having so much fun doing other stuff that I actually didn't take as much time just to actually do the thing that I came here for. But by sheer association, I did absorb a lot of it. And I learned a lot about like the process of, file management, peer-to-peer communication in terms of like bouncing things back and forth. Just being in between you and Jordan, just kind of hearing these things about Nuke and asking about things. They flew over my head, but I caught a few every once in a while. So,
Nice.
Yeah, man, it was really cool having you in the studio and just getting to meet you. And like this job's new for me, being in front of the camera, and to see how like natural it seems to you, and like every time you're on camera, I'm like, God damn, he's good. Like it honestly helped me be more comfortable on camera. Like so it was really cool just getting to be like, oh damn, like Mark's just like improving this stuff, and it's like super, like, I don't know, it just feels good. Like, and so it's helped me feel more comfortable on camera, just seeing how comfortable you are and stuff. And like, I know we've talked about having this improv class in the studio, and like, that sounds awesome. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's something that's so new to me still. Like, every time there's a camera in my face, I'm like, how talk English good. Like, so
you do great. I would
Thanks,
never
man.
would have thought. And thank you for saying it. It's just like 10 years of exposure will do that to you
yeah,
every day.
yeah,
Like,
man. But it's super cool. It's cool to see, like, I don't know, it's always interesting in any field to see someone that's really like, on top of their craft and just like firing like at a high level and just being like, oh yeah, I can try to like absorb some of this by osmosis, and just, you know, just observing, I think, is so important to learning, like just being immersed in it. So it's interesting that you say that about like just being immersed in the environment, you are picking up little things about VFX. So it's really cool, man.
thank you.
Yeah, it's been
Thank you.
awesome having you in here.
Oh, thank you very much. That's sweet
Yeah.
of you to say.
And likewise, I've learned a bunch from having you here as well. Like I know I mentioned this to you, like texted you this, but like I know you were the quote unquote intern, but like having you here and like learning about your creative process and the way you approach things, the way you approach projects, just like the way you kind of like sort out priorities of, I mean, I feel like you're of the kind of similar mindset where when you're making something, you have to find something that's like, that excites you about it, right? It has to have a personal truth to it. Whether it just be like, I like explosions, so I made an explosion scene, that's okay if that's what you like for that moment, but like, it's not just about making something you like, it's also about making something that speaks to an audience so other people can engage with it and finding the balance between the two things. And, that's something that you practice, basically every day with your videos on your channel. And so having you kind of bring in that perspective and seeing how you approach that concept versus how we approach that concept is really insightful and really interesting. And just, kind of a reminder of like, pause and step away from like the, this video comes out in 2 days, we got to get that done. And just like a little bit bigger picture, just slow down, take a breath, think about why are you doing this? What's fun about it? Where do you want to be in 5 months? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Which, I try to do, but there's an extra nice time to get like a second reflection on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Nick, now it's your turn to
Yeah, I
say
was gonna
something
say,
nice
okay.
about me.
The workshop.
Yeah.
It's so fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Your dance moves. No.
dance-
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Apparently.
How are you going to come up with anything new?
Oh,
You
come
took
on.
everything.
The workshop.
Talk about the
Talk about the
workshop. It's so
workshop.
nice.
The workshop is nice. I thought that was extra cool because it's kind of, and I'm not sure how much this is covered in crew cuts, but it's kind of like a rite of passage for every intern to clean out our prop room and workshop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, you just raised the bar on everyone. So I don't know what our next intern's gonna do, but
Yeah.
it better be good. That's all I
I
can
gotta
say.
knock down a few walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kid's gonna come in just fresh out of high school and be like, wait, you want me to do what now?
Yeah, man.
It's like,
No,
yeah, full remodel of our kitchen, please.
Yeah, dude, it's honestly been awesome creating with you and just having you like getting to, like Fenner said, just like as someone who films everyone, I get to see how everyone acts on camera and off camera, and like it's definitely just a comfort in front of camera where I don't know, like it's hard to say. Like Ren has all the energy, but like it takes like 20 takes to get something.
Mhm.
You just like say one thing in one take and it's like, oh yeah, that's going in. But like it's different, but like you can definitely I don't know, man. Yeah, it's been good. I hope you come back for more. Yeah, I hope you.
I already am. You asked me to come in for this Insta 360
Oh, so that's
videos.
a yes. Okay, good.
If I can, yeah, of course. No, I'll be back.
No,
And then-
man. Yeah, it's cool. I feel like sometimes I look at life like an RPG, and you just unlocked a home base, right, on the map. So you can come back, you know,
Yeah,
come
dude,
back,
anytime.
create, take a snack from the fridge, you know, if you're thirsty and in the neighborhood. You
maybe
know.
I will. That's very sweet.
Recharge your health.
You guys are
Yeah.
too nice. Like it really is just like pure exposure on doing those skills. I believe anyone can get to this point where like they're super comfortable in front of the camera. Like there's nothing. It's my machine learning algorithm has just been exposed and trained a lot of repetitions. I don't think that they're exactly how brains work, but there is some parallels to be said there. And it's also like part of the thing that I worry about a lot for some other like people that come up in the celebrity, like internet celebrity world. They're thrust in front of the camera when they're not ready for it. You'll see like on TikTok, like stars just blow up all the time, and then suddenly they're like, okay, go on TV now.
Yeah.
That's daunting even for me. The idea of like going on TV, even though it's like less people would watch me on TV than would on my normal videos.
Yeah, it has this prestige to it. that
It
you're like,
does.
"Whoa."
It's all the lights and the glamour, but you get someone that has never done any of that, and just put them on there, and then they just crumple under the pressure because of course they do. Anyone would. Like I would have if my first year of making videos, you put me like in front. There actually is a local news came to broadcast something about a charity stream I did, and I'm just but you know, it's so nice to not only have like people that can recognize that it's a cool thing to do, but also just like you guys understand it because you make these videos. That's part of the reason why like it's so fun to be in this environment, because everyone here has the potential. It's just everyone's at various little places of specialization. Some people like really excel in visual effects. Some people are really pushing art, and it's like so many of these people that fill these bars of creativity, and they overlap to this beautiful mesh of skills. This is like a really special place here. I like it, and I'm glad that I was able to help a little bit.
Yeah,
Right,
it was.
good.
I mean, it was really great having you here. I mean, it takes guts to be like, I'm just gonna take a jump. I'm gonna like screw up my entire schedule and change everything I'm doing, my daily routine. I'm just gonna go do this for a little while. And you jumped in and you made it happen.
And my God, my schedule got messed up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
Oh,
so
man.
behind on so many things. God.
Is there like something you will take away from this, that like observing Corridor, how we operate? It is a different thing, obviously, but like, do you think you'll implement any of these lessons, or like
I do think like I love the just attention to detail you guys put to everything, like the thought process, the big planning about it, and I do try to like take that to some of the things I do now. Not that I'm like terrible at bigger projects and planning them. I've done that before, but it's like you have to, with so many people, you have to be on the same page, and like trying to bring that out to me and talking to my editors and getting like weekly meetings in there. So like that's in the very boring business sense. In the other sense is like I'm clearly off the deep end with the AI stuff, and I was never even close to being a part of it until I got in here. Like now I'm literally like looking up educational videos and lectures on machine learning algorithms and like neural networks and Gaussian processes, and I'm just like, I don't know, whatever. And I would never be doing that otherwise. Same with electric
awesome.
bikes and unicycles. I'm gonna break my collarbone at some point in the future.
Oh yeah, when are we gonna get you on a one wheel, dude? Come on,
Man,
come on.
we've been trying. It just didn't happen. I tried as much as I could.
All
Just
right. All right. We'll make it happen. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now that you graduated,
Did I graduate?
I think
Okay.
this is graduate. This is
Okay.
like the ceremony.
You've gotten
right?
your
There's-
grades back, but we haven't
Yeah,
walked yet.
you haven't
Right,
walked
right.
yet.
I
But you're
haven't
probably going to graduate.
I haven't
not with-
defended my thesis
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Right, I see.
What's like your next big kind of post corridor thing that you want to do?
I gotta make a movie.
Nice.
I kind of like I already knew I kind of wanted to before, but I kind of solidified it because it just is this realization that because I finished my project in space with Markiplier, and I learned a lot from that. And then I realized I was kind of waiting for permission to do a lot of things, especially when it came to movies. Like, oh, I got to get a studio to sign up and negotiate that. I was like, wait, I have the money to do this. I know how to do this. And then I realized like I know how to hire a crew. I know how to get a producer onto a project. I know how to write. I know how to edit and I know the right people to do post-production, I can make a movie.
Yeah.
Period.
Heck yes.
It sounds easy when I say it, but it comes with like that same thing where it's like it's 10 years of exposure
Yeah.
of doing this to get to this point. But I realize like, oh shit, I don't have to wait for anybody's permission. And it's like, it's cool because that is the mantra here is like, you guys don't wait for anybody's permission. And technically speaking, I do, but with gaming videos. And so when it comes to like making a movie, an official big boy movie, I realized like, yeah, I could do it and I could do it just as well as anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
Hell
do
yeah.
it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like just being in something for so long. It's like those barriers to entry, they just start to dissolve because you're just like, oh wait, I can do this. Like that's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's also really easy to constantly like say like the reason I'm not doing that is because I need a producer to give me the money, or I need to have somebody write the script for me. Or it's like you could just start writing the script. You could just make it for less money. You could like, there's nothing really stopping you outside from you just being like, well, it's a really tall mountain and I just gotta start walking,
Mhm. That
Yeah.
is what it's all about. I mean, I know people can get discouraged, especially artists nowadays could be like, why would I even start? And yes, it does get more burdensome the more people are out there making cool stuff in an instant, but that doesn't change the fact that the difference between someone making something and someone being like, hey, look at all these cool tools that are fun, but haven't made anything is someone just decides to do it.
Yeah.
Just decide to keep going. They just decide to take those steps. And then everyone else will be sitting on the sidelines being like, oh, I would, but it's just not my chance, and watch them walk right by and
Mhm.
go off into the sunset.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like going back to Stable Diffusion and stuff. I think the artists that are like so opposed to it, I think they're going to get left behind a little bit, which sucks to say, but it's like if you're refusing to learn like the new tool or just do that thing and taking that step of being like, okay, you know what? I just got to learn this. I just got to dive into this. Then unfortunately you do get left behind and you do become the person that's left on the sidelines. Like, oh, I would have done that. I just didn't Google how do I install Stable Diffusion,
Yeah.
like it's the only person that can really, push you forwards is yourself ultimately.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like our generation, like I guess my generation really is like kind of the forefront of the generations where you can't at some point decide you're done learning. I feel like back in the day when things were a little bit slower, you kind of like, I've locked in my specialty, I've refined my skill. I'm not going to worry about learning anything else. I'm just going to stay in my lane, keep my skill as refined as it can be, and be the ultimate craftsman. And I feel like these days, if you want to be the ultimate craftsman, you have to constantly be willing to stop using the tool you're using and learn a new tool. Whether it's moving from one 3D package to another 3D package to another 3D package, or different editors, or even different techniques, from being like, I'm drawing it by hand to I'm using AI to enhance my workflow to literally inventing new workflows. Like you have to keep your brain flexible, and it's really easy to like stop. And like, there's a lot of people now, it's like, I've invested so many points in After Effects or anything. It's like, I don't want to shift gears. And like, I totally get that because it does take some time, but you also can't let your brain get to the point where it crystallizes and you can't shift gears. And if you want to take the time to learn a program and you're unable to, it's like you're in a really bad spot in a world where it's not about being good at one thing. It's about being good at learning all the new things as they rapidly come out and just staying on top of all of it,
Yeah. I'm like dreading and looking forward to the day that I'm like, oh God, I got to learn this new program over Nuke. And like, that was like going from Maya to Blender for me. Cause I was just like, there reached a point where I was like, oh, I got to learn Blender. Like it's free. It seems like it's like, I don't know. Blender just, it's like has this trajectory where it's like surpassing the industry standard
It's
programs.
crazy.
Like
It's
it's
the open
seriously,
source
it's like,
movement, really. It's
exactly.
doing it.
And same thing with like Stable Diffusion because it's like, here, have it, take it.
Yeah.
It's so quickly iterating and just like every week is like
Yeah.
a new thing where you're like,
Yeah.
oh God. Like, and it's daunting. I definitely had like last week, I was like, oh no, I'm falling behind on learning these AI image generation things. Like it's crazy. Like, yeah, it is daunting. Of like we're on this curve of just like technology and like I feel like every release of Blender that comes out, there's some new add-on that's like, oh, this is crazy cool. Like now there's a plugin now for Blender where you can just generate tiling textures from Stable Diffusion, and they're like it's crazy. Just in Blender, you're like, I want a tile of a rock, and it's just like seamless texture, perfect, 8K. And you're like, what? Like, it's crazy, man. It's like, yeah, it's how do you stay ahead while also still getting good at what you're learning too? Because it's like, it's so you just have to invest time. Like that's all it is.
Learn to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did hear something interesting about that whole thing about like our millennial generation. being one of the first to like continue the learning process. And someone pointed it out really specifically. It was like, oh yeah, it's because the last generations didn't have access to constant learning. Like that
You're
wasn't
right,
a
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You couldn't look up a tutorial. Open source wasn't a thing at all. There wasn't any software that could be iterated by your neighbor who happens to be an expert in
Yeah.
like neural networks for some reason because they watched a lot of YouTube videos.
They watched a lot of anime.
Yeah.
Anime.
Yeah. Anime. But yeah, it's like it is one of those things where the realization that even like growing up and getting older, I am still just as rabidly curious about new things as I was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like it's good because like the future generation is the same way. Gen Z is gonna be the same way. The whatever are they going back to A? Gen A after Z.
Does it recycle?
I think
or do we
so.
just make up new letters?
With hurricanes, it's like they do loop back around.
I think it's
right?
Gen A. I think, or maybe it's like Alpha generation or something like that.
Ooh, that's gonna mess
Sick.
with some people if that's what it is.
The next generation is screwed. The betas, dude.
Oh no! Alpha just generation comes out with that Chad face.
Oh,
That's good times.
It's weird to think that that guy that's in like, you know, the Chad memes, he's just been walking around being him
I love that.
before the memes existed. And
Yeah,
they're just
man.
like, whoa.
the perfect human.
Yeah, like what happens when he walks into a room?
I mean,
Yeah.
They need to have a convention of all the meme people. They get together, you know,
It'd be a
do meme
scary
signings.
convention.
That'd be such a, I mean,
I just have a feeling though that like he only I hesitate to say this, maybe the picture evidence, but I imagine he only looks good in those pictures at that lighting at that angle.
You're probably right.
Whereas like in normal flat lighting like this, his features are extremely exaggerated. His chin is gigantic. His cheekbones are too high. He'd look weird. I'm just look. I don't want to. Maybe I'm being mean. Maybe I'm being an asshole. Maybe I'm trying to be self-defensive about it. But I just feel like he'd look a little odd in a room.
You know, the funny thing is,
We're all
you're
threatened by
you're
it,
probably
okay? We
right.
can admit it.
But at the same time, he stepped into this room and like looked at us. We'd all be like, "Oh, Jesus, Jesus!"
For some reason, I think he's like way up there. He's got to be like 8 feet tall. Right?
Yeah, we keep
Yeah.
looking at the ceiling when we mock.
Holy
Oh my
shit.
God.
he's so alpha.
Yeah.
He's so up. He's beyond.
Crazy. He's a
He's off
triple
the
A.
It's off the spectrum. I love that quote. I love that video.
That joke went over a lot of people's heads.
Was that on set? Was that an on-set?
No, that was in the
edition?
script.
Okay, that was
in the script, and we're like, we have to put this joke in the fidget spinners video. Yeah,
Man,
not everybody liked the joke either, but you know what? God dang it! Then it's not a good joke if it doesn't piss at least one person off.
Yeah.
It's a very funny joke.
so Mark,
Yes.
you just got back from a vacation, a trip,
A work trip / vacation. Yeah, I was in
Okay.
Korea. It was vacation because I got to see my family, and that was very important. Haven't seen since the beginning of COVID. Progressed a lot in terms of learning Korean, so I was able to actually have a conversation with
Ooh,
some of my
nice.
family members
Sweet.
That's so cool.
that I've never had a conversation with.
Wow.
That's the strangest thing to think about. Is my aunt Imo is aunt for on the mother's side. But I didn't know that's meant aunt. I thought all of my aunts were named Imo. And it's just like, that's just what you call all of your aunts. And when you have 6 aunts on one side. But yeah, I went there for filming a documentary with my mom. And that was a really interesting experience because, well, number one, because my mom is not good at planning logical orders of getting things, which is troublesome because I did not know enough Korean to be able to help plan. But number two, it's great because I learned a lot about my family's history in Korea and where I came from, because the book that my mom wrote is called Markiplier from North Korea, which is a very strange title. And the book's not even about me. It's just she wrote it like that to, that way people will click on it. and
That's
people
how
will
she
get
wanted
it.
it
It's a
titled before she
clickbait
published
title.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But my grandfather, he was up before the Korean War. He was up towards the north border of what is now North Korea, near China. He was from a wealthy family that owned land, and then they started to get rumors that the Korean War was going down. So his parents sent him and his brother south to run, basically literally to run. Because they knew something was up because they had contacts, and they were just like, we can't all run, but at least my sons will live, because if the sons stayed, they would be recruited for the army and then sent off to war and die. So they sent sons south, and my grandpa and his brother ran literally walked 1,000 miles south. And as they were going, just war was like just about to break out. Things were mobilizing, everything was terrible. And like right as they got across the border, war broke out, and just lived in complete poverty, homelessness, struggling, lost his brother because he went back up to try to find family, never came back. I think he even joined the military, and just like my grandpa got a letter one day that was just like, your brother was killed in combat. And he basically was like, I don't want to live anymore. All my family's gone, all of them. I never. And so he actually got on a train and went to go to the DMZ where he was going to kill himself, because he just didn't want to live anymore. But on that train, and this is where the story is like, it's one of those things where it's like you couldn't write it like this. People wouldn't believe it happened. On that train, there was a family friend that had also fled from the same town that he was from that recognized him, and knew his family and knew him specifically. And the reason they knew him is because my grandpa has a limp. One leg was shorter than the other, because he had, this is why he couldn't join his brother to go into the military to find his family, is because they wouldn't let him, because he had a disability from his leg, like giving him a limp. So this guy recognized him on the bus and said, "Aren't you Mr. Chi?" And is like, I'm a friend of your family. Are you okay? Like, can I repay you and your family for all the kindness you get? And gave him like a job at a military base, gave him a place to stay, try to get his feet back on there. My dad was in the army, worked with was in that military base, met my grandfather, got introduced to my mother, literally all these chains of events. And that's literally the only reason I'm here. Like tracing these events of impossibility to get to me here today. That's why it's called Markiplier for North Korea, the real reason, but it's just like these events.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, the documentary for that is coming out. Yeah, that was a little bit, only a tiny snippet of it. It's way better. You better watch the actual documentary whenever it's coming out.
Is that going to be on your Markiplier YouTube channel?
I don't know where it's going to be, but my mom said that she wanted it to be so successful she could buy a condo in Korea. So I got to figure out how to do that. So ticket prices are going to be very expensive.
The ticket price is one condo.
One condo. We only need one buyer.
One ticket.
Yeah. Now,
awesome,
have you done a documentary before? I guess you could argue that like a lot of this stuff you did on like Unis Honest is like kind of reality documentary.
we did an actual parody documentary. It was only 20 minutes, but it was like Hunting He Who. We made it we filmed it in a day. I edited it in a 13-hour sprint. But it was a full documentary. Those who know have watched Hunting He Who could say, yeah, that's just as much of a documentary as any documentary they've seen. So yes, I have. I know the general recipe. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
What was your role in this doc? Are you hosting? Were you directing? Were you
in Hunting He Who or this one?
Sorry, in the new one, but I suppose both.
I just like directing. Ethan, my buddy, he was filming everything.
Cool.
And basically just like I'm directing it. I'll edit it and piece it all together, and then I'll eventually sprinkle in some more stuff as needed for narration. But yeah, just doing it for my mom. And because I'm a good son.
Heck yeah.
That's like major son points, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let me make a documentary about our whole family. Like,
tell that to my mom.
That's like punching the ticket to favorite
You're
child.
gonna burn it like on a DVD and you'll give it to her with like a hand-drawn cover. Be like,
Mom.
It's not good enough because it's not a book, right? Because she wrote a book and her English isn't her first language, so the book isn't like written well, and that's not an insult to my mom. That's literally amazing that my mom could write a book in her second language, but it's not like well grammatically structured. So I'd be like, this is better if you let me transform this story into a documentary, a movie, so that people can really associate the visuals with it and see it, meet family member over there, and just really know what it is, like what Korean life was like and is now, and the comparative difference. So it's like, but my mom's just like, no book, and I was like, it'll be better than a book. A book won't say. I don't know. And so it's just like,
Mom, have you heard of this thing called novel AI?
there you go, dude. Run it through.
I could.
Honestly,
Yeah.
take your writing style, run it through, and see what you get from
I could. Yeah, it's just like I don't want to rewrite it. Because it's a disservice to my mom's efforts to rewrite it because it changes her voice. But also, it's just like it's so much work to write a book. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'd rather make a movie.
Totally.
That's super cool. Has your mom written a book before?
No, her first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gutsy.
Oh man, my mom's done all things. Mom's like me, where it's just like you just have an idea and you run with it.
Mhm.
And it's infuriating to see it happen. Which I mean, that's how I built the workshop. Is like I literally, me and my buddy John had an idea. It was like we could rebuild it. And then we just went with it. We barely even asked for permission. Did we ask for permission?
No, there was one. No, well, you don't.
It was Jake. Jake was just like, "Hey, if you're willing to pay for it," and I was like, "Deal."
No, but that was like the permission where you're like, "Mom, Dad, can I sleep over at like my friend's house?" But you've already decided. It's just like
exactly.
you just need the,
Yeah.
you just
You're
need the
already
yes.
packed.
Yeah, you're already
Sledgehammer.
packed.
Yeah.
You're already there. Halo's on. You're already like, you know.
Yeah,
games
you got
in.
some
His
screen
mom said it's
going.
okay if I stayed overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the line.
Yeah.
Like they said it was okay. I swear I'll be home. I did all my homework.
Oh man.
No, that's awesome, dude.
So that was my mom with nursing school too. So she was like, "I want to be a nurse." I forget what the inspiration. She saw a nurse or had a really nice nurse when she was giving birth to me or my brother, and she didn't even really speak English at that point. But she went into nursing school being like, "If I memorize the book, I'll pass." She didn't know English. She memorized an English nursing book,
Whoa.
everything word for word,
Wow.
and passed it, and also learned English at the same time.
Wow.
From that, like my mom is incredibly smart, but also much like me, incredibly not dumb. That'd be a bad son thing to say. Illogical
Oh, okay.
at times, bullheaded, which is where I got it from. I suppose.
Nice.
Love you, Mom.
You think she listens to the podcast?
No, she doesn't. No,
She
way.
will now.
Yeah. She'll listen to the whole thing just for this part.
Mhm.
Just to hear about the book. That's awesome, dude. It's crazy. Like, I don't know if you felt like this, but I feel very disconnected, or have felt very disconnected from like heritage and stuff, because we're
Yeah.
all like, Americans are. That's what we are. Like, we're all just multiple different heritages.
Yeah.
So it must be very cool to like go back to the actual places where all these little, like you said, happenstances that led to you existing on this planet,
Yeah.
like actually went down. It's something I've been meaning to do for a long time.
Yeah. I think everybody should. That history is there, whether you like it or not. Like no matter what it is, it's there. Like for the longest time, like I kind of like forgot about my Korean side. It was just a thing that my family did every few years or so. We go back and see family. And then I'd see all these people that I couldn't talk to, and I'd be like, all right, I guess. It wasn't until a few years ago that I really, really tried to tap into it, because the realization, I've always said like, I'm half Korean. But at the same time, realizing that like I am Korean, like that is part of me, and that's part of who I am. And like understanding my mother instead of just like tolerating my mom and her quirks, and realizing like a lot of them just come from a different upbringing in an entirely different culture. The way that she thinks makes so much more sense when I realize the way that like Korean people think, like the habits that they have, the kind of like care and attention that they put in different places and emphasis than like traditionally America does. It's one of actually the closest to America. That's why they get along so well, is because it's like this individualistic mentality in Korea, but it's also extremely communal mentality. It's like the Koreans are like this juxtaposition of so many different things that shouldn't mix, and yet they do. That's why North Korea is so like bizarre, and South Korea is so like prospering. It's this dichotomy inside itself, like it's a war inside the people. So it's like really interesting to know.
Does any of what you just said make it through in the documentary? Because I think it should.
Yeah,
I'll write it down now. Remind me.
I mean, dude, like just that. I mean, that realization of like you uncovering quirks in your mom and actually having now an explanation culturally rooted. That's an ending right there, bro. That's an ending. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, everyone watch this. Remind me, because I'm gonna forget.
Leave a comment down below to remind Mark.
Go ahead and Reddit exclamation remind me in so many days.
That's really
Hi,
cool.
future Mark, when you're listening to this podcast, to double check your notes for this part.
God, do I gotta listen to the podcast?
We'll send you a clip.
I'm just kidding. I'll listen. You need a highlight. Do you have a highlight channel?
We don't.
Corridor Crude.
Yeah, when is that happening?
We got the channel name.
Oh hell yeah!
Wait,
Corridor Crude.
Crude?
Yeah.
Like CRUDE?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
E?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not Corridor Crud. Yep.
Hopefully it's different.
Yeah, I guess I could put it on there.
So, wait, what's this channel for?
The whole idea for this channel is for us to have a place where we don't have standards.
Oh, we can ship
Yeah.
It's
low quality
it's
shit
shit
posts
post.
as opposed to high quality shit posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyone in the crew could do it, right?
Mhm.
That was the idea.
Yeah,
Is
the
that
idea is
still the
that
idea?
Anybody
love it.
here who makes something and just want to post it, and like, I mean, obviously, everybody can, like, if they make something, they can just post it on their own stuff if they want to. But if they're like, I'd rather tap into a little bit more of an audience just because I want to. Like, the idea is to have this YouTube channel where you can, and it's just like, go for it. You know, there's no scheduled, planned branding, etc. It's just you can make something, you throw it up there.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really sweet.
I think it'd be super cool. I'm glad that's happening. I really am. I think it's
You'll
gonna
just
be
post the password publicly and call it a day. No, I'm kidding about that.
a public YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Public YouTube
Dude, I
channel.
love that. Yeah.
It'd get deleted so quick.
We could just start
Instantly.
blaming people's stuff. You know, we could have a little submission form.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be
Blaming.
like our spaces, on Reddit, where people could just overwrite.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
only one
Over.
video that can be up there at a time. You have to delete the video.
That's really funny.
That'd be so cool.
Genius ideas. Genius.
Gosh, dang it. We definitely got to rewatch this one. You know?
Yeah, with my notes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that idea. There's one of your contributions. There's a lasting impact from Mark.
I hope so. Unless it's terrible and everyone hates it, then not me.
It's just it'll just live there. You know,
Mhm.
maybe that's what maybe we can merge that with the guillotine channel.
I thought
Hmm.
that's what you guys would have done. No, you didn't.
No, I think
Oh,
we
the
just got a
guillotine
new
channel still guillotine channel.
I think it's still the
Oh,
guillotine
yeah,
channel.
yeah.
Someday it'll come back. I believe.
Yeah.
I like the guillotine channel.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
It'll come back when when the revolution happens.
Yeah.
It'll be like an oddly
Well-
like how many noodles can you cut? And it's like, ooh, the beheading of the dictator.
Wait, is that the governor?
Yeah. The dystopian
Well,
like
The
revolution that
guillotine
happens.
is gone, so we have the blade though. So I mean,
true.
anything can be a guillotine if you have a guillotine blade, right?
It's true. You just put like a streamer on it and drop it from high up and just
The world is your guillotine. Such a positive ending on a positive note.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I look forward to shit posting on that channel.
I look forward to it too. It'll be a good time.
Gonna be great.
That's where we can put the Corridor crew reacts to the Cobra Kai crew reacting to Cobra crew
Yes.
Corridor
Yes,
reacting
exactly.
to Cobra Kai.
Dude.
Or we could just put that on the main channel. I kind of feel like we should.
I feel like it's main channel.
Yeah.
Cool.
All
Is
right.
that is
I
that
feel
a
like-
wrap? Should we wrap?
I feel
it?
like that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's
Yeah.
that's
Do you
the end
want
of
to?
this
You
podcast.
guys
AI
want to play us
family
out?
history.
Maybe.
Well, I
Or
will say,
AI
I
family
guess I'll wrap it up, even though like obviously this isn't like your last day right here in this podcast, but
Mhm.
I guess from like a public video point of view, it's like it's been really cool having you here, and you taught us a lot, and I hope that I'm sorry you didn't learn any VFX.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
But-
yeah. Intern 2.
Yeah, but we're always here to answer your questions if you need them, and yeah, it was just really cool having your creative energy here, and I hope that you found value in it because we certainly did, and it was kind of a gift from you to have you here.
Oh, I mean, the feeling is completely mutual. Thank you so much for allowing me to invade the space a little bit. And I know, like I said from the beginning, I didn't want to like interject any ideas, into it. But it's just like I get excited when I see like different things and like I get ideas like that, and that's how people need to get ideas instead of being closed off and isolated.
Yeah.
Like mine. Like with Blender, open source stuff, it thrives out in the open. So don't be afraid. Except for there's that one person on the Corridor Digital that will be very happy that I'm gone. So you're welcome. Every week there's this one guy like,
Yeah,
when is this gonna end? And I'm like, all right. So, okay, guys.
Mark, most of all, thank you for the idea of the laxative render challenge.
Is that happening?
I think.
Oh, it's happening.
Oh my goodness! Thank you. Finally, you gotta thank my buddy Ethan for that. It's really his idea, and I'm stealing it. So, but it's open source now, so I can't have it.
When's that happening? Oh no!
right now.
Oh, yeah,
It's
It
gonna be a
happened
secret.
1 hour ago.
Yeah. 1 hour.
it's like look near LaCroix.
These laptops come down from like the roof. It's like,
Yeah, you spring on people and then you put the computers on their lap an hour into it.
Oh
and you're
God.
like, you have as long as you can
as a
last.
man who have had a lot of laxatives throughout my life, it's not that bad. You gotta poop a lot. That's it. It's not painful. I don't know why everyone thinks it's like horrifically painful. It's just like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom again. It's the fact that you have to go to the bathroom 20 times in 2 hours.
That sounds
That's what-
horrific. That
Yeah,
sounds
but it's
awful.
not painful. It's
You
fine.
should definitely be able to do a VFX shot in between. Come on.
Yeah. Or wear a diaper.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Get a bucket.
It's your choice. How important is that VFX? See, there's so much drama in this video. It's so compelling.
Speaking of render challenges, last thing. The people that made the Irish board plank asset that you guys bought
Oh, yeah?
explicitly sent us an email to be like, thank you so much for using our weird 3D video game
was
asset.
so
We really
heartwarming.
appreciate it.
Did they get a boost in sales?
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
3D plank industry is like
Like
really booming right now, dude.
$15.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Anyways.
Worth every penny.
Just
God, Peter's reaction to that. He's like, no, I really think we need this.
dude, yeah. That
I
that
still
whole
haven't paid him
format.
back. What you say?
Filming those videos is so fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like that whole like just trial by fire format is super
Mhm.
good. I want to continue that.
Oh, man. And just bring more people in. Like, it doesn't have to be me each time. It's just like anybody could be in. I'm so glad you got Aaron in for the React.
Yeah, dude,
Dude.
that's so good.
Oh,
that's
such
amazing.
Awesome.
Trip
I
down
didn't know
memory
he
lane.
made those. That's the
You-
thing.
you-
I knew who he
you haven't-
was. I didn't know he made those cartoons.
Yeah. Same here. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that was you.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
my God.
so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, the name of Ego Raptor was like synonymous with me browsing Newgrounds back in the day. It's like
Yeah.
I lived for his next upload. I was like, can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man.
And then I met him in real life. What a dick, right?
Yeah.
No, he's a sweet.
He's like a 2-layered celebrity. He has
Yeah,
like this
it's
old,
so
like this
cool.
like shadow celebrity character he used to be. That,
Yeah.
like, you know, he's like, I'm not that man anymore.
He found a new form of success. No, it's super,
Dude,
super
I
cool.
love that episode. Both Sam and Ren were like, what the heck is this episode gonna be? Like, what are we gonna talk about? And then like we started filming and it was just like it didn't stop. Like
Oh.
there was no dead space and it just flowed and you could tell they were super engaged and
Yeah.
it was so thanks for helping
Oh.
with that.
Oh, no, nothing on me. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
One last question.
Hmm.
Do you want that desk when you leave or like
I'm gonna get it out Friday. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
literally
there's
I
an air
feel
conditioner
so
in here.
Okay.
bad because I was like, yeah, if I get this desk in here and computer, I'll be able to record some videos while I'm at my internship. And then I literally move it in, and a week later, I'm like, I gotta go to Korea, and then I don't come back for a month. I never filmed the video here, not a single video
Maybe
here.
this is the week. Maybe you can do one.
Yeah.
I gotta go home after this. I gotta get that food truck on Friday. It's gonna be a lot of work. No,
Oh man,
I feel so bad because I know it's been an eyesore. Just, like,
it's
sitting
fine.
there.
It doesn't matter. I'm like, God, I want my corner behind the couch back. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry, guys. I know
So-
that's your nap space.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look at what
You
is
gotta move
this?
the bag back
It's
there.
ruining the feng shui, man.
I love the bag right there. The
It's
desk
very
being displacing the beanbag. I know that we were supposed to end this podcast like a minute ago, but Jake does not like the beanbag. He really wants to get rid of the beanbag,
No.
and I have held on to that thing. I've fought Jake for it for like 6 to 7 years now, and it makes me proud that it is here in the middle of the floor, smack dab in front of everybody, where I can just flop onto it at a moment's notice.
It's my favorite part of the office.
Keep corridor chill.
Keep corridor chill.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of a beanbag?
It's big and floppy and takes a lot of space.
No, actually, yeah, I had the same realization. I used to have a beanbag in my office that I had, and then we quickly realized like this is the biggest waste of space.
Yeah.
The couch is so much more comfortable to me. But I get it. I appreciate you sticking by your guns.
Boom, boom.
All right, maybe you
Hard cut to
shouldn't
black.
That should be it.
All right, that's it. Bye,
Yeah.
everybody.
Boom, boom.
Bye.